o'clock. I'll call this regular city council meeting on Tuesday, September 28th to order. If you'll rise, we'll have an invitation for all to pledge.
Heavenly Father, Lord, we just thank you for this day, and we thank you for all that you've given us, Lord. We thank you for the moisture, Father. We just ask you to be with us tonight, Lord, as we do city business, Lord. Just give us wisdom and guidance, Lord. We just thank you for your Son, Christ Jesus, Lord. For us in his name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for joining us tonight. At this time, Janine, is there any public comments?
Nobody's requested.
Next, introduction of city employees.
No.
Next, we will consider and approve the minutes from the August 24th meeting. If there are no additions or corrections, can I get a motion to approve the minutes as read?
Make a motion, we approve the minutes from the August 24th meeting as read.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made by Kenny, seconded by Buddy. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Next, we will consider and approve the monthly departmental reports. If you have a question, please identify on the page.
I got a question on 54. About maybe 3 or 4. There's one consulting 2400. There's 2 of them on there. What are they consulting to, or what is it? Kevin,
Yeah, he worked for us for a couple of months while Mike was out, and to help manage the water department. We had a lot of stuff going on at that time, and Kevin agreed to help with us for those. I think it was just 2 months we did that.
Okay.
So is that for a 2-month period or 1 month?
I think that's for 1 month, so we've got another one.
And is he showing the guys, the foremans now, or the guys that are in there, instead of him coming consulting all the time, or is that?
No, he won't
ongoing thing?
be, it won't be an ongoing
Okay.
thing. It's just for that time period when Mike was out. And he also helped us on some stuff. There's just so much to deal with the TCQ and our operation system and stuff. He was willing to step up and help us through that. So I appreciate him. He did a good job.
Other questions? If not, can we get a motion to approve the monthly departmental reports?
Oh, I had one.
Okay.
Page 27. Do we still not have a street sweeper, or what's the update on that?
We do, had a couple of little minor things, I think, wanted to update the brushes on it, and there's, they ran it for a while, I don't know, probably about a week or so, but it had blew a hose, and, but nothing bad, we just don't have it running right now, but I'll say that myself, and I was thinking during, of course, this is for August, so I don't think we ran it till September, isn't that right?
No, I didn't run until September.
September we
Little
ran it,
hydraulic
so-
line, and now it takes a certain kind of hydraulic fluid that we can't get around here, so we need to have some brought in, some purple. And then the brush people were out with COVID, so they should be back sometime this week. So
So minor fixes and
Yeah.
that'll be up and going.
What about the trash trucks? Are we got trash trucks?
The saga continues. We have I think we got 3 of them running.
Yes.
Number 2, 3, and 4. Got number 2, which is the Sterling, and 3, the Optimus, what they call it.
The brown one?
And then the auction truck. You got it running now, right? So we've got 3 zombie trucks running right
I saw a
now.
waste hauler in town, I think.
Hot waste haulers did help some.
Yeah, the Sterling
2
had
weeks
some
ago.
fuel issues from where they fixed it before, so we ended up having to
Take it back.
take it back, so. They
Well-
called and said it was ready, and they got about a block, check engine light came on, so they took it back. So, but we got the other 3 trucks up and running now, that we got 3.5 inches of rain, so.
3.5 inches
Yeah.
yesterday at the landfill.
So are we gonna go back to Abernathy, or what's the?
Yes.
We gotta go to Abernathy for a little while till we get dry enough to.
Probably tomorrow will be the only time we'll have to go to Abernathy. Guys should be up and ready out here,
Okay.
so.
New truck still looking like the end of the month.
That's what they're saying still. Have they told you different?
No, they're still saying, it's in Justin now, they're building that can on the back, so it just depends on how long it takes them to get that thing built, so. But everything else is ready, I think they're down to wiring on it or something like that now, so. We're coming to the end of that.
We got barbecue back, and so.
Yeah, he's back, they released him for 3 full days and he had therapy today, so next week.
And now you're down Rogers, too?
Yeah, he should be back on the 5th.
I have another one on 24. What is they're working on gaining provider privileges with New Mexico and Medicaid.
We have to actually be enrolled in Medicaid as a provider to be able to be paid by anyone that we transport that is covered by New Mexico Medicaid.
Okay.
And we see quite a few of those that are coming over to our emergency room. They used to go into Muleshoe quite a bit, and they're not doing much OB anymore. And we're doing more OB services out here. So we're getting some Medicaid transfers out of this hospital and out of some of the other hospitals we serve on the regional transfers that we won't get paid for if we're not a provider. So
Okay.
we're working on getting that done.
Are the regional deals still going pretty good, or probably really strong right now, aren't they?
I'm sorry?
The regional transfers, are they going pretty strong?
Actually, they're way down right now.
Okay.
Not much moving patient transfer-wise. The hospitals are kind of gridlocked, they're full, so patients aren't moving around much. If we are lucky enough that we'll get the transferring to lump sum, but we're having requests for Abilene, Amarillo, Tampa, Colorado, Dallas, so there's some really long distance ones available, but there's not a whole lot of moving around right now because just the beds are not available.
Okay.
Thank you, Monica.
Yes, sir.
I make a motion, we approve the department reports.
I'll second.
Motion's been made by Buddy, seconded by Eric, that we approve the monthly departmental reports. Is there any other questions or discussion? If none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Next, we will consider and approve the August expenses, which were in that report you just read. We just need to approve the expenses. No questions, can we get a motion to approve the August expenses?
I said motion to consider and approve August always going expenses.
This is for just the regular.
Regular? Okay. I said motion. I said, August, approve August expenses.
Motion's been made by Eric, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Kenny. Any further questions? If none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Next, we'll also accept separately the August always towing expenses. As you've seen in there, double towing charges. So if there's no questions on that, we get a motion to accept those expenses.
Make a motion to approve the August always towing expenses.
I second.
Motion's been made by Kenny, seconded by Eric. Is there any further discussion? If none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? And one abstaining? Yes. Next, we will consider and approve appointment of municipal court judge. Do y'all want an executive session to do it with her, or just before? It's up to y'all.
I'm good.
Okay. We're going to spare you, Judge. See a letter from her on page 61 seeking another appointment. These appointments are covered by state law and by our charter. So she's seeking an appointment for a charter, a 2-year term. So we get a motion to approve her reappointment for another 2-year term.
Make a motion, we reappoint Judge Russell Perkins for another 2-year term. Municipal court judge.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made by Kenny, seconded by Buddy. Any further discussion? None. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations. That was the easiest one you've ever done, wasn't it? Next, we will have a public hearing regarding the no new revenue tax rate for the tax rate for the 2021 tax year that will raise the same amount of property tax revenue for the city of Littlefield from the same properties in both the 2020 tax year and the 2021 tax year as prescribed by tax code section 26.06. At this time, I'll close the regular city council meeting and open a public hearing. If you want to comment on the issue, please approach the diocese, state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Anybody speak about that? If none, I'll now close this public hearing and reopen the regular city council meeting. Next, we will consider and approve an ordinance levying taxes for the use and support of the municipal government, the maintenance and operation debt of the city of Littlefield, Texas, and providing for the interest and sinking fund for the fiscal year 2021-2022, appropriating said levy for the specific purpose, and providing for time and manner of paying the ad valorem taxes levied, provided by for publication by caption only, and providing for an effective date. So in your package, you see the ordinance that taxes that enacts the no new revenue rate. Motion to approve that ordinance.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve ordinance levying taxes for the use and support of municipal government and the maintenance and operations of the debt of the city of Littlefield, Texas, and providing for the interest and sinking fund for the fiscal year 2021 to 2022, appropriating said levy for the specific purpose, providing for the time and manner of paying the ad valorem taxes levy, providing for publication by caption only, and providing for an effective date.
Motion's been made by Kenny, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion's been seconded by Buddy, any further discussion? If none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Next, we will consider and approve the acceptance of property ID 18202, Crescent Park Edition, Block 15, the west 50-foot of Block 3, and east 40-foot of Block 14, located at 123 East 23rd Street. Mitch?
Mayor, we've been trying to work some of these burned houses. We have about 8 of them or so, and this is one that, after sending them the code enforcement letter, they asked if we would accept the property. I checked with the appraisal district, and it should be clear, taxes are paid up on it, so probably $200 to accept the property, and get it in our name. Probably around $7,000 to $8,000 cleanup cost, because it is a pretty big house and it's got a basement. And so I would recommend that we accept this property, clean it up, and then we'll put it up for sale on our auction site. I believe we can do that. And this is one of the few that we might be able to recoup most of the money for cleanup on. Normally, we would leave it the property owner's name, but file a lien on the property, but Ms. Hammer didn't want to do that. She wanted to donate it to us. I don't have a problem if you'll let us do that. We can get this property cleaned up.
We would still get title work from Real Abstract to make sure it's clear title.
Have we checked to see if there is any liens against it?
There's not, something would jumped up.
But that's why we do.
We'll do the
That's
title
so I
search.
didn't know if we've done it.
Make sure. No, I hadn't pulled the trigger on the title search, but we'll do that.
When you put on the auction site, Mitch, are you gonna ask for a reserve on it, or?
We can't put a reserve on it by state law, but we can choose to not accept it if it gets to the number, which, where that's located, you would think it'd be a pretty valuable lot.
I think $8,000-$10,000 maybe, or more.
If we get something that's less than that, we don't have to accept it.
Main thing is cleaned up, it's an eyesore, and get some calls from some of the neighbors about it.
But we're working on other ones around town.
We've got commitments on about 3 more besides this one. So it's tearing down, filing. Most people can't afford to do anything with them, so we end up doing it and then filing.
I make a motion, we accept this property provided that there's clear title.
I'll second the motion.
Motion's been made by Eric, seconded by Buddy. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carried. Next, we will consider and approve the TxDOT grant for routine airport maintenance for 2022. Mitch?
If you'll remember last year, this thing looks backwards, the routine airport maintenance grant does. We'll apply for it before we decide what we want to use it on, but in the past, LADCA has been really helpful in the match for this 50-50 match, and we've been able to do a lot of things with these grants. And right now, we're discussing possibly using this to do part of the hangar work if we build this new hangar, or I know we're gonna need to do some crack seal out there on the runway. All these things are doing with this grant, and I recommend that we approve it, and then later on I'll come back with a plan of how we want to try to spend this money. You know, no harm, no foul if we don't spend it, but I think it's good if we say we want it, and then later on, if we decide we don't want to use it, we can still do that.
Questions? Not entertain a motion to approve the ramp grant.
I make a motion, we approve the routine airport maintenance program grant.
Motion's been made by Buddy. I'll second that. Motion's been seconded by Eric. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, the motion carries. Next, we'll consider and approve expenses for the water well project.
These are a couple of expenses that we never have really put a number on because we didn't know what they would be, and one of them we planned to do ourselves. We planned to build this road with our equipment and our material stuff, but we've got an option here. We got a bid of $27,000 for a contractor to do it, and I've also got a estimate of around $13,000 from a trucker that will haul the material in for us so that we could lay it out, which wouldn't be very difficult really at all. I'm supposed to get another bid from another trucking company. So that's to build the road. I would recommend that we spend about $13,000 for the material and for the hauling to take you out there, and then we can work it ourselves. And then the other part of it is we never have really known how much it was going to cost to extend the electrical for Excel to extend it. And we finally got some numbers on that, and there's a formula where its actual cost is around $65,000, but because of the anticipated usage, it's about $40,000 to extend that. And as far as the money to pay for this goes, we had anticipated some of the over costs for the wells kind of exceeded our original budget. We planned on paying for some of that out of our $1.4 million we're supposed to get from the CRF COVID Relief Fund federal grant. And we've already received $750,000 of that. So I'm still anticipating having a little bit of money left over from our 1 mile project, the 24-inch replacement project. I think we'll be able to do that and without having to spend any of our money on these two projects, using whatever we don't use on the 1 mile project to finish up the well project from what the overage is from the LEDCA obligation of, what was it?
$539.
$538 or something like that. And so what I'm recommending is that we approve two costs, one for $13,000 for material and hauling to build the all-weather road, and $40,344.66 for the Excel's participation cost in extending that power line to wells.
Can we approve on not having an actual bid for that $13,000?
Yeah, it's not a meeting the $50,000 threshold for sealed bids and stuff, but the $13,000 is a pretty solid bid from the trucker.
Any reason why you hadn't got us the written one?
I just called him and really, I mean,
Last
we
week.
can do that if you need to, but we really need to try to get this road built as quick as possible. I'm waiting on another bid from another trucking company, but like I say, we can wait to get a written bid, but I really don't want to delay any. But to answer your question, we don't have to have a written bid for it. If y'all want to approve the cost, we can get it. And before we do it, we'll have something in writing that says this is this much.
And you think 13 is adequate? You need some buffer?
No, not really. I estimate 400 loads, and he said he'd do $500 a load, which I figured 500 yards, and so that comes out to about 13,000, a little over 13,000 if we did 500 yards, and it's really going to be more like about 400 yards. So probably 12,000 something probably to do all the hauling. Like I said, I don't have the bid yet. It might be lower from this other trucking company.
A motion to approve the cost up to make a motion to approve the cost up to $13,000 for material and placement for the all-weather road, and approve the participation cost of $40,344.66 to Excel for the overhead power line.
I'll second that motion.
Motion's been made by Eric, seconded by Buddy. Is there any other questions or discussion? If none, all in favor say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Next, we'll consider and approve expenses for the Aquatic Center landscaping next.
We're getting close to wanting to wind up that facility out there, and they're going to be finishing up in any day now. But I want to try to get something established around the pool to keep the dust down. You know, that extra dust coming in there is probably not going to help much. So the council authorized some engineering a while back for landscaping and irrigation for the pool. And in this memo, I asked for like $45,000 to start the first phase, but I've met with the engineers a couple of times since I wrote this memo and met with the contractor a little bit, and I think what I'd like to do is just back off of this right now and go ahead and bid out the irrigation and the landscaping, but not do the sodding and stuff yet. And I think we'll have enough time to get that irrigation system in. I want to get the trees and the plants in, and then do some kind of a rye or some kind of cover to get established quick. And the window's kind of closing quicker, and for getting Bermuda in, and this. So I just asked at this meeting to approve this plan for expenses for irrigation and plants and trees. We'll bid it out, and then another meeting will come up before we can accept the bid on it and do the contract, because it will be over $50,000, so it'll have to be bid out. The good news is we did receive word from Texas Parks and Wildlife that the feds did approve our $750,000 grant for the park, so we could very easily use some of that money to do a nice landscaping around the swimming pool.
So your plan is to go ahead and do all the irrigation and do the trees and get some kind of winter cover on the dirt, and then next spring try to get the grass.
And go ahead and do the plants in front too.
So what would our motion be to bid that out?
Just to put, yeah, for us to bid it. Proceed.
So you want to only do the irrigation on the west end?
No, I wanna go ahead and do all the irrigation. Now, I've been looking at the plans, and I wanna take some of the heads out that we won't need, But I want to vary from this, what I asked for in this memo, and I want to go ahead and do all the irrigation, and I want to do all of the plants, and then do, it'll be pretty inexpensive to do a rye winter type mix on it, and then we can come back later and early spring and go ahead and saw at the front and do that later. But for right now, I want to get the irrigation in, and I want to get something established on that before it gets too cold.
So to be clear with the council, you're talking about the strip along Phelps, all the front of the building, inside the pool area, and all of the area around the sides and the back.
Right, all the area around on that.
The entire
property.
swimming pool property to have irrigation.
Do we have another estimate on the irrigation?
I've got an estimate from Tom's. I only want to have, I've got I didn't put the engineer's estimate on cost. It was fairly close to this. And we won't know the actual cost till we bid it out.
We would expect Tom's to come in to what we estimated already,
Yeah, it should be close.
but other companies would also bid.
Yeah, that's $93,000 for just irrigation.
Right, and I want to cut back on it a little bit. There's a few areas that are not going to need it, but like I say, until we bid it out, I want to go through and do some value engineering on it and then bid it out, and then we'll have a good number on it.
But it's the whole 5 acres irrigation, so the whole park.
And it's lots and lots of irrigation.
What is it you
So,
want to cut
yeah, what
out?
are we doing here then?
Well,
You just want them, just to give you
authorization
to go
take-
take the bidding.
yeah, take bids on it. We really have
Obviously, we'll
engineering
come back
plans.
to y'all for approval.
Right, we'll come back later with the actual bids and stuff. And if it goes quickly enough, we could possibly maybe do a special meeting or something before next meeting. Because I want to try to get this as soon as possible. But I haven't been able to do it so far because we don't have the final grade. They're working on the final grade right now, so.
Part of what your hurry is, you want to get a perimeter evergreens around the back, is that part of it?
It's part of those Afghan pines. Well, on the west and south side.
So the motion, Brian,
Yeah, if you just authorize the manager to go out to prepare the bid, to prepare to go out for bids on these projects.
I make a motion that we approve city manager to go out for bids on landscaping irrigation for the aquatic center.
I'll second.
Motion's been made by Buddy, seconded by Kenny. Is there any further discussion? What is it you want to cut out? What area?
Well, I'm gonna put a retaining wall there next to the bank, because it's such a drop off, so there's no irrigation there.
they have
And
some
then-
planned.
And then possibly, in the back, we're gonna have a walking trail and trees. I don't know if there's gonna be much room for very much grass back in there, because it's gonna be all walking path and
Very
grass,
back.
you know, along the trees, but, I've gotta discuss that some more with the engineer to see if he really thinks I could take that out. But- And I don't know if it'll make that much of a money difference, but, you know, less heads, it's much different.
With no further discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, the motion carries. Next, we will discuss and approve a resolution of the city of Littlefield denying Southwestern Public Service Company's request to increase rates. Mitch?
Well, there's no hurry on this. I think they've actually delayed this if we need to a later meeting, but I don't see a reason for delaying it. It's, basically, we're denying the case so that it can, be under closer scrutiny for this $100
do every year. Remember, we deny it, and they go not settle on it and come back with quite a bit less amount. A motion to deny the Southwestern Public Service Company's request.
I'll make a motion that we deny the Southwestern Public Service Company's request to increase their bid.
Is there a second? I'll second that. Motion's been made by Buddy, seconded by Eric. Is there any further discussion? If none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Next, we'll consider and approve an interlocal agreement with Graham County for Sunset Boulevard maintenance.
I believe this is pretty much word for word what was written up earlier. Most of this stuff is still just an agreement, handshake, that we would mow the Ag Center celebration event area in return for them working our dirt roads to the east of Hall Avenue.
And we had a previous interlocal agreement for that, correct?
Well, I don't think we ever had one for that deal right there, and that was kind of part of the reason we wanted to get this in writing. And then when we sold the facility, it kind of pushed us to want to go ahead and get something in writing regarding Sunset Boulevard to the south of 84. And matter of fact, we've already repaired or had hot mix repairs done on several spots in that road. And, you know, this agreement pretty much is pretty much in our favor all the way through it.
County requested it when we sold it. They requested it that this be in writing. We had talked to an interlocal agreement about mowing, and then they graded some streets for us in return. They asked for interlocals, and then we never get them back. But this one they'd asked for, we had Ryan prepared it, sent it to them, never got it back. And I asked the judge, I said, you still want that interlocal agreement? Oh, yeah. And so that's why you're seeing it now.
So they're gonna maintain all the roads east of the Ag Center back here, Brownlee and all that.
All that back there, they
Arkansas,
laid it.
20th Street.
That's what they're supposed to do. They've been doing that.
Yeah, they do okay with it. I don't get a lot of
So
complaints.
basically, they're gonna maintain that for us maintaining Sunset.
No, we mow the Ag Center, because
Yeah.
the sheriff used to, and now we mow the Ag Center,
Okay.
and they grade those streets. Why this street on Sunset came up is because the prisons, there's about 100 feet of that road that's no longer in the city limits.
Okay.
And so we still have to take care of Sunset, but the county line is actually 80 to 100 feet short of their entrance. And this just says that we'll take care of the rest of that pavement.
We put it in our rotation, Silco rotation.
Okay.
No further questions. Entertain a motion to approve the interlocal agreement with Lamb County.
I'll make a motion to approve the interlocal agreement with Graham County for Sunset Boulevard maintenance.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made by Kenny, seconded by Buddy. Is there any further discussion? If none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, the motion carries. Next, we'll have an executive session regarding annual city manager evaluation of the city council and the city manager and attorney.